Hey guys, Adam here, and so this video is going out to just certain folks, Kidsmen staff, certain key volunteers in kids ministry or preschool, to Kelly, who is heading up the Exodus reps and the roster there and everything, and really doing a fantastic job. So I would ask that just keep this video just to yourselves, and this is planting seed for us to begin to process where we're headed with Exodus reps and to just join in the conversation. And I want to stay on this video instead of calling each person and having like 2-hour conversations to save you that time and myself to just send this so we can plant the seed. So I want to start by just kind of addressing where we are with the Exodus reps, and then I want to take us to an idea that really just kind of hit me yesterday of where this role could turn, what this role could turn into as for Exodus reps. And so not that we're going to do that, but just we're going to start the conversation. And this is all a process. All this is a process, right? And so it's messy right now. There's things that are uncertain, and we're figuring out Sunday to Sunday. I mean, we're still at that stage where pretty much every Sunday we're seeing new Exodus reps come in, and so and pretty soon we'll hopefully get to a place where we start to see them scheduled again. We start to see that rotation start to take shape, and so that everybody can kind of get a chance to figure this out. And then for the kids in the preschool side, we're trying to figure out what does training look like for this, and how exactly do we explain this, and how do we talk about this? What's the lingo that we use? Everything with this needs to be very intentional. It's going to take time. And so I appreciate your patience as we try to figure out this. And in the end, this is all going to be worth it. If you look around nationwide, you're going to see a lot of churches that they stopped doing stuff like this with reaching the homeless and homeless ministries. Why? Because it's messy and it's difficult, but it's worth it. I mean, these folks are they're children of God, and especially in this case, if they've got kids. We want those kids, right? Like, we desperately want those kids. And so to be able to love on them and to show them grace and to point the way to Jesus Christ. And so the key during this season is just to not give up, to keep trying. In the end, we are going to figure out a system and a philosophy that I think we're going to look back and say was all worth it, just as long as we don't give up during this time, because this is the time where a lot of churches will give up, because this is hard, this is messy, it's difficult, it takes a lot of brain power and people pulling together and really thinking through the ins and outs of everything, and there's a lot of changes, and so that's where we are. But I will say this, we're seeing great progress. We're seeing a lot of Exodus reps. I mean, every Sunday we're seeing new reps come in, and that's great, and they're building up that roster, which is fantastic. And then I've seen a lot of cases where I've just seen our reps do amazing jobs and do exactly what we want them to do, is just go above and beyond, showing love and grace to kids that are in the middle of a really tough situation, and that they're getting extra attention. And again, this is not about Exodus reps taking care of bad kids. There's no such thing as a bad kid. We all know that when kids are acting out in certain ways, or maybe they're just not used to the way that things are being done in a certain situation, that they don't even know how to respond in certain situations. But a lot of it come out of anxiety and fear. In this case, it could be as simple as hunger, like that maybe kids are hungry, and it's called. We've dealt with that with some of our past epic kids that have been brought to us from Exodus Ministry, and we've seen that, man, they were just really hungry. And so we are seeing progress there, and I want to say thank you for that. The key during this time, the main thing that I want to say, is that we just have to remain positive. We have to speak positively. The people that are receiving this video, you are leaders in all this, and that means that we are setting the culture for this. And what we say, how we say it, how we come across is extremely important. Exodus Ministry and Epic Kids Men, we are a partnership, and so we are working together, and we need to support each other 100%. And so that means on the Kids Men preschool side of things, for my staff, for my directors, for myself, that we are totally supportive of the Exodus reps coming in, and that we are asking if they need anything, can we answer any questions. When it's time for them to fulfill their role and take care of a child, we give them the freedom to kind of figure out how they best want to diffuse a situation or show extra love and grace. And so and then with Kelly, and as she's recruiting, she's just going to continue to speak positively about this Exodus rep role, what this looks like, and we all need to be speaking of this in a very excited way. Like, this is a cool thing that ultimately we get to do, is show extra love and attention to the least of these. And in this situation, kids, our epic kids, are not Exodus kids. We need to get that out of our vocabulary. They're not Exodus kids. They are epic kids. Now, they are being brought to us from Exodus. And because of that, we know that they're homeless, that they may be living in a shelter, and that chances are that, man, they've been going through some rough stuff. They need extra love and attention. And this role is allowing that. This is huge. And then right now we're in a season where we're not seeing a lot of growth with more epic kids being brought from Exodus. But I guarantee you we will. Let's get through this month. We get to December and January. We are going to see growth. We're going to get to see more kids come. We're going to be able to invest in them, love on them. And this role is going to help us make sure that even as we grow, that we can love them properly, give them the extra attention that they need right now during this season, and to help them assimilate. That's really the main point of when you're dealing with an Exodus rep, is they're helping new families coming in. When we start seeing new families from being brought to us from Exodus Ministry, when we start seeing these new epic kids, we need to help them assimilate, get used to the environment, get comfortable with things, let them know that they're supported and they're loved and they're valued, and then we'll see that once they're set and they're comfortable. We've already seen this happen. That we've had certain families with us for a while now, and it was very rocky in the beginning, and now it's so awesome to see the progression that has taken place. And so I'm thrilled with that. And so we work as a team. We speak positively. If we do these things, we will shape the culture, and we will change the culture and make sure that we are speaking of not Exodus kids. We are speaking of our kids. They're epic kids, and again, yes, they are being brought to us from Exodus Ministry. So just please do me that favor during this time, even when it's frustrating. Let's speak positively and in love and support each other. Now, on the flip side is, where could this role go? Now, I can't avoid the fact that I've been watching everything in action, and I've been trying to take mental notes and seeing what's working and what's not and all this stuff. And you know me, I like this stage, because this is the stage where you start to you get to make changes and you get to tweak, and it is week to week, but you can really start to dream big about what something can be, and specifically like with this volunteer role. And so what I'm thinking is, and what I've seen so far, is that I know there is a negative perspective of Exodus reps, and even that lingo is kind of dangerous, because we have to be very sensitive of not creating a culture where it's the Exodus kids and our epic kids, that they are epic kids. And that Exodus rep, even that name, is kind of misleading to the approach, and it can be perceived as, well, they're these Exodus reps, they're just making sure these bad kids are stay in line, or it just has a lot of, and because these kids are they're down and out right now. I mean, their families, because of the situations they're in, the socioeconomic level is low. And it also can breed all these different false perspectives of what we're really doing and how we feel about these kids that are being brought to us from Exodus Ministry. And so as I've been thinking about that, I've also been watching the Exodus reps in action. And one thing that I see is that, they may intervene and show extra love and grace for a kid, an epic kid that's from Exodus, but then they may address another child too that is not an epic kid from Exodus, and then when I've heard their feedback, and one of the things they all said, pretty much all the reps are like, hey, I love doing this, and I want to do this for all kids. Okay, so yesterday what hit me is, well, what could this role, since the Exodus reps has kind of a negative perception, how do we change the script to and maybe even enlarge their role a little bit more, where we change the perception. And here's from my heart, whenever I meet with new reps, one of the things I tell them is, hey, what you're doing for these epic kids from Exodus Ministry, it is something I would want to do for all kids. So this is even listening to myself in my own heart. So I started to think, well, what if we change the names? Melissa had a great idea for a name we call them investors. and they invest extra time and attention in situations where it's needed. So that, because again, there's no bad kid. If a kid is misbehaving, there is something potentially going on, and we just want to give them extra love and attention. Now, this doesn't mean we let kids run wild and there's not consequences, and we do not, discipline a child to a certain healthy degree and all that kind of stuff. But that we can dive in deeper before we go get the parents and all this kind of stuff. And so, maybe we change the name. Maybe it's something like Investors. Maybe it's something like that. And it's pretty much what Exodus reps are doing right now, except we are intentional about their role in training them that, okay, look, this is about, yes, you have a focus of, you want to know if a child is homeless, is from a shelter, because you need to know that. And because you may have to address that child differently. You also want to know, is that child brand new, whether they're homeless or not? Are they new? That matters. Are there special needs that you need to know about? You're going to handle that differently if there's any type of behavior issues or anything. You definitely handle that differently than you would with a child that doesn't have special needs. And then to really just open up this role, what was Exodus reps, maybe Investors, to where you're not in a tribe, you're not in a life group, you're not a worship leader, you're not a caregiver, you're not anything. You are an investor, and your role is to do exactly what the Exodus reps are doing now, to be present in the space, and you're looking for ways to diffuse situations, to show extra love and attention when there's disciplinary actions that need to happen, to be that first step of trying to intervene without getting parents. So that's what I really want you to start to think about, pray about. I want us to start this conversation. But even if we decide to do this, we wouldn't pull the trigger until like January. So that's about it. The last thing that I will say about our current situation and where we are now with Exodus reps is I'm trying to think of a way where we can make sure that during this season, as we have Exodus reps, that when a van or a bus from Exodus is here and they're dropping off families, that maybe we have our Exodus reps in place at that point, and they're maybe in the Hope building towards the main doors there, and they're looking out for that bus and that van so they can walk those families in, and then we can also connect with those parents and make sure that we have their correct cell phone numbers just in case we need to get them. So that way, if we do, we do not want to have to bother Teresa and Jim when they're in service, Teresa and Jim Biggs. We need to go straight to the parents. So we need to think through the intake process to where if we do need to go get a parent for whatever reason, that we are not having to go through Jim and Teresa, that we have a system where we can go straight to the parents. That's something we can think through and experiment with. And Kelly, I'll definitely just need your help trying to figure that out and whatever you feel comfortable with. That's about it. I'm sorry this is long. Love you guys. We're on the right track. I think this role is going to develop into something that is going to be beautiful, to where we can go above and beyond loving and valuing what the tone is. Every child, no matter whether you're homeless or whether you have special needs or whether you're just a kid that's been with us for years and you're just having a bad day. So let's just keep dreaming and processing what this role could look like. Thank you for all your help. Bye-bye.